What is going on, everybody? Greg Ehrenberg here from Stokastic, and a little bit of a different content piece that I'm doing right here. We have a new deal with Drafters. If you guys aren't familiar with Drafters, they've got a lot of really cool best ball contests going on, and one that I'm excited about that I'm about to do a draft for, as you guys could see on my screen here, just starting in 35 seconds, is best ball contest for the NBA playoffs. So a lot of strategy is going to go into this. This is the first one that I have done from here, and what we're doing is trying to balance different things here. The players that we think are going to be good from a fantasy perspective, as well as players that we think could go deep into the playoffs. Because the way this works is nobody's going to get eliminated from these drafters contests round by round. This is cumulative points, and it is still in a best ball format where you're going to get your highest scoring players at each position for each round of the playoffs. So at the end, it's going to be cumulative points, and we're about to start here. As you can see, this is going to be my first draft. I think this number here is the amount of drafts everybody's done in this contest so far. So J Memphis 12. Let's see if he's got a bias towards Grizzlies players. Maybe not, because he drafted Giannis first overall. Bitcoin. So this is the Bitcoin. He drafted Jason Tatum. We've got OSU kid. I assume somebody went to Ohio State University. Then we got myself doing my first draft on drafters. James 61. Oh, it's my pick right here. So let's see. How do I want to start here? I am going to go with Kevin Durant. And yeah, let's draft KD here. So, like I said, this is going to be my first one. I am pretty high on the Suns for the playoffs. Not that that's really all that crazy, but they are favorites right now to win the Western Conference, at least as far as the betting odds go. And I do think the Western Conference path to the finals is a little bit easier than the Eastern Conference. So, if I could, I'm going to try to prioritize some Suns players when they present themselves to me. Like right there, I got KD, fourth overall. Feel pretty good about that. Also, if you haven't signed up at Drafters yet, use the promo code Stokastic. It's going to get you up to a $100 bonus on your first deposit. Good way to help you start build your bankroll and get into some of these contests. The contest dollar size for this, only $5.55 to join the big contest over at Drafters. And only about halfway full right now. So definitely something that's going to present itself some potential in terms of overlay. All right, so 20 seconds left here. And all right, Booker was just taken. I'll go with Chris Paul just for the extra correlation. Already have Kevin Durant. So yeah, I'll add Chris Paul to Kevin Durant. Start myself with a couple of Suns here. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be rooting for the Suns, at least in this draft, based on the early going. And one thing that I think is going to be pretty key for these is just trying to correlate your players together, especially considering, it's a best ball contest. Like I said, nobody's getting knocked out. This is going to be cumulative points. So trying to balance some of the best fantasy players with also how deep players go in the tournaments, as well as correlating your players together, right? So I'm taking the Suns here. With that in mind, I don't want to be taking Clippers players. They're playing them in the first round. And obviously negative correlation there if I've got Clippers going alongside with the Suns. And then we'll just develop some extra strategies as we go on the fly here and try to figure out which players we want to focus on for our next team, maybe. So Ayton just went. I wouldn't have minded Ayton pairing him with Kevin Durant and Chris Paul, but he is now gone off the board. Let's see. So given the players that are currently available and some of the ADPs here, I'm up in 2 picks. I'm going to take Chris Middleton if I have the option. If not Middleton, then James Harden. Let's see who gets picked. Okay, so OSU kid went with James Harden. So let's go with Middleton here. And we got to start Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Chris Middleton. Not bad. Good fantasy producers. Also, very live chance for these teams to play each other in the finals. Something else of note, too, about Chris Middleton is that while we saw him play limited minutes for a lot of the year, I don't expect that to be the case in the playoffs. And we did start to see his minutes kind of get to be expanded a little bit down the stretch of the season. I know he dealt with that bum knee down the stretch a little bit there where he missed a couple of games, but those weren't important games for the Bucks. I don't really have too many significant concerns about that injury. What do I want to go with next? So who do I think he's going to take? He's already taken Embiid, Booker, AD. His players are kind of all over the place. Let's see what he ends up going with. He took Aaron Gordon. Yeah, so not a lot of correlation to his players. All right, Durant, Paul, Middleton. Smart, Clay. Mitchell. I'm pretty stuck here in between Klay Thompson and Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to go with Mitchell just for the better fantasy production in the early rounds. And also, first round matchup, Knicks Cavs. I do favor the Cavs to end up winning that round. So, at the very least, I do think we're getting a couple of rounds out of Donovan Mitchell. And I don't love the Cavs' chances to go deep into the playoffs. But with that said, at a certain point too, we're just going to need some of the fantasy points the first couple rounds. I would definitely favor teams like the Celtics, the Bucks, 76ers, all of them in a series over the Cavs, but I do like the Cavs at least in the first round against the Knicks. These are some of the players that I kind of struggle with. See, like Bitcoin here took Al Horford, where and also Jay Memphis too here just took Bobby Portis. Is where do you prioritize players that we think could go deep in the playoffs, but then also aren't the greatest fantasy producers in the world? So, like Bobby Portis, I could have taken him instead of Donovan Mitchell. I think Portis goes deeper into the playoffs, but is that going to offset the fantasy points that Mitchell puts up? I tend to think not. All right. What do I want here? 15 seconds left. Brogdon. I'm kind of stuck here between Brogdon and Time Lord. I'll go with Brogdon though. Maybe I should have gone with Time Lord just because of the positionality. I don't have a center yet. Hopefully Williams comes back to me. He's another guy too, Time Lord Robert Williams, that I think should play extended minutes into the playoffs. Let me look at his box scores down the stretch of the season. So first game Boston plays is going to be Saturday, which, by the way, is when this tournament locks. If you guys want to get your entries in, do it before Saturday when the draft runs out. And I think right now when I started, there's a little over 4,000 entries in this contest and only 2,300 of them taken so far. Let's see, Robert Williams against the Hawks in the first round. Well, he's already gone. So we were looking into it a little bit. But the Wizards, 76, already ended up drafting Robert Williams. I'll finish my thought here, though, and look it up because it could be relevant for some future drafts. I'm going to do a handful of these today. Robert Williams down the stretch of the season. Last two games he played, he did play 25 and 31 minutes. I think that makes me feel pretty good about what his workload will be in the playoffs. A little bit of FOMO, I feel, for not end up getting him there. Let's see, Draymond Green or Derek White. I think I'm going to go with Draymond here. Although I also have, you know what? Pivot. I don't have a center yet on the team. I already have Donovan Mitchell. Let's go with Evan Mobley, who is center eligible for a little bit of added correlation. We do have to consider some of the positions here. And you don't just want to go with all guards, all forwards, because you do need to get fantasy points from the different positions there. So, yeah, I ended up going Mobley there just because the correlation I already have with Donovan Mitchell, that and the fact that I missed out on Robert Williams. As I'm looking through this, the center position is not all that deep for these drafts. So we had Jokic go in the first round as well as Joel Embiid. But then the only second round center taken was Brook Lopez. I get it. Brook Lopez had a great year. He's also somebody who should go deep into the playoffs with the Bucks, but would I want to take Brook Lopez over players like Steph Curry I know he went towards the tail end of the round, but either way, would I want to take Brook Lopez over like Ja Morant, James Harden, these types of guys? Probably not for me, unless I already had Giannis in the first round or something, which he did have, by the way. All right, we've already got Mobley. We've already got Mitchell. Got Garland available near the top. Yeah, let's go with Garland here also. Also, don't mind some of these questionable tags for players who haven't played yet in this round, because we saw so much rest towards the tail end of the regular season that if you guys saw when I was drafting my players, Donovan Mitchell was officially listed as questionable. We also had Darius Garland was listed as questionable in here, but it's just because they missed their last game. It's not anything to be concerned about. These guys are going to be good to go. A lot more significance in the first game of the playoffs than there was in game 82 of the regular season when the Cavs spot was already locked up. So you guys can see we've got 12 total rounds that we do here. There are 6 teams in each draft. Just something to keep note of, that we're going to be drafting 72 players throughout this. So let's look at the team. What do we have? I've got 1 center. I've got 2 forwards and 4 guards. So if I'm in between guards and forwards for my next pick here, which is coming up in a couple of spots, I'm going to be more apt to go with a forward just because of the amount of guards that I already have on this team. Jimmy Butler's going to be a tough one. The Heat play today. I have no clue if they're going to end up advancing or not. Let's see. Who are some of the forwards? I go with another big man. Go with Jared Allen again at center. Really load up on the Cavs. Hope the Cavs make the finals. Let's put him next on the queue. Let's go all Cavs team. Yeah, if we get a Cavs Suns finals, this team be looking pretty good. We have basically all of the players on the Cavs. We'd already have Chris Paul and Kevin Durant from the Suns. Like I'm saying we as if we're all in this together. I know it's a piece of content. You guys are hopefully still watching by now. Should I say me or should I say we? Does anybody care? I don't think it matters. All right, so here's what we got so far for forwards now. We've got Durant and Middleton. I would like to add some more forwards. And then guards, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Malcolm Brogdon, Darius Garland. Centers, we've got Mobley and Jared Allen. So I have got almost the entire Cleveland Cavaliers starting lineup. I've got all the players I care about. I don't feel like I need to go out and get, like Isaac Okoro or anything like that. Got the best fantasy producers from the Cavs. Nobody's stopping this team if the Cavs go deep. All right, let's start planning ahead for the next spot here. Probably would like a forward. I know Jimmy Butler is pretty high ADP here. It is. If they lose tonight, though, you're getting nothing out of Jimmy Butler. I can't pull the trigger on Butler right now. Joe Ingles, that would be a consideration. Paul George. I'm not sure Paul George plays at all in the playoffs, so I can't draft him as a forward. Xavier Tillman's a little bit interesting, particularly with all the injuries in the Memphis front court. So I'm going to add him to the queue here in a second. Just when you consider Xavier Tillman and his potential here, because there's no Steven Adams. He's been ruled out for the entirety of the playoffs with a knee injury. Then you've got the situation where we have who else is out for them? We've also got for the Grizzlies, I'm having a total. Brandon Clark, right. Brandon Clark, torn Achilles. So he is out as well. That should open up additional playing time for Tillman and really solidify his playing time in the playoffs. There's just not that many good forwards that I want to get to here, and I need to draft them. So I think by default, I'm just going to land on, let's pull the trigger on Tillman. Let's just scroll through some of the other available forwards down here. It's just something you do. Just click on that forward tab and it'll isolate the forwards that are available. Jimmy Butler, don't know if he's going to be playing in the playoffs because the Heat might not make it. Paul George, but I still favor the Heat to win tonight. I'm recording this Friday morning, but I still don't, number one, even if they make it, I don't feel great about their odds to make it past the first round. Paul George, I'm more of the belief that he's not going to play. Not that he would fit on this team anyway, because I've already got a bunch of Suns players. Oh, look, there. Somebody pulled the trigger on Jimmy Butler. Don't even have to worry about him. I can go with Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert's an interesting one. I just get all the Cavs players on one team. A little pot committed to them, but what does it matter at this point? If the Cavs lose, my team is dead anyway. Why not just go with Karis LeVert as well? Karis LeVert, who are the other options here as potential players? I mean, there's nothing else here that I really feel all that good about. I know that my upcoming pick is 57, and Karis LeVert has an ADP of 61.6. So based on that, I would be drafting him a little bit ahead of his ADP. But he fits better into my team than any of these other options, and I do need a forward to add. So hopefully LeVert falls to me. Let's see, D'Lo just went. I wouldn't have minded Josh Okogie added to this team either, just because of the Suns I already have. All right, come on. Don't take LeVert. Do me a favor here, Beretta James. All right, nice. He took Austin Reeves. I didn't want Austin Reeves. I want Karis LeVert. Another guy here. LeVert has the questionable tag. He's playing. He's going to be good to go. All right, so I'm pretty well balanced right here in terms of positions. I've got 2 centers. I've got 4 guards. I've got 4 forwards. I don't really feel like there's any particular position I need to prioritize right here. I think I could just roll with whoever are the best available players. Let's start to think ahead. So I'm going to avoid Bam. I don't need to talk about the Paul George thing again. Anthony Edwards, another one who, interesting, because I do like the Timberwolves' chances to win tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I do think this is a team that's kind of sneaky as a live team in the first round against the Denver Nuggets. Not they would be all that likely to win, but I think they would have somewhat of a chance. Would have preferred them as the 7 seed. They lost to the Lakers in that spot, and they could have been the 7 seed. Let's see. Torrey Craig, just to fit in with my Suns players. Although I'm not sure how big of minutes Craig is going to play. I'll star him for now because I think he might be the best option of what's available for me. Grayson Allen is a potential one, although he doesn't really correlate with my team, but he's at least a decent enough fantasy producer. Somebody took Edwards here anyway. Oh, Craig is still available. So Torrey Craig it is. Fits in with my other Suns players. I haven't drafted a Suns player for a minute, but now I've got Chris Paul, I've got Kevin Durant, and I've got Torrey Craig. Something else to think about as well is if your team does make it into the finals, the teams that you're focusing on, do you have the positions to be able to support that team? So what I'm really looking for here based on the team I ran is I want a Suns versus Cavs finals. Is it likely? No, but you're giving yourself an opportunity at least. Like, I'd rather give myself an opportunity if these teams make the finals than just randomly taking a bunch of one-off players from different teams, because then it's even like, okay, it's still a large field tournament and pays out top heavy. If I get to the finals and let's say I only had Kevin Durant and Donovan Mitchell, it was Phoenix and the Cavs, and if I had some other Lakers players mixed in there and whatnot, I don't know how live that team would be. All right, what's available here? Do I go with just a Bucks player at this point? Pressure. 10, 9, 8. Yeah, let's go with Grayson Allen. Just start him so he'll get picked for me automatically. And this is the end of the team. The end of the line for this squad. So here's what we ended up with. I like the correlation. I like the players I got too. I think I have a good combination of good fantasy producers and players that are actually live to go to the final. I would have liked to have had maybe one more forward and one less guard and gone with a 2-5-5 build. In my opinion, that is the best build just based on me looking at this and the different ways that you could construct lineups. I think if I had my choice, I would go 2 centers, 5 guards, 5 forwards. But at the end of the day, you get to the end of the draft and you just kind of ultimately want to take the players that are best available as well. And that was where, running out of time there, I kind of felt that Grayson Allen was a better option of what was available. But we've got forwards here: Kevin Durant, Chris Middleton, Xavier Tillman, Karis LeVert. Guard, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Malcolm Brogdon, Garland, Craig, Allen. And then for the centers, Mobley and Allen. So if the Cavs don't go deep in the finals, this team would pretty much be dead because I wouldn't have any centers available to me. But there we go. Did a quick draft. I hope you guys found this useful. If you're going to play on Drafters and if you haven't signed up yet, use the promo code Stokastic. It is going to get you up to a $100 bonus on your first deposit. We're also going to have a link for that below. And if you have any questions for me, let me know below in the comment section. Did you like my team? Which teams are you guys going to be targeting in the drafts? Anything like that you have thoughts on? Just leave a question below in the comment section. That does it for me. Good luck with your drafts. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. These should be some really fun best ball drafts. I'm looking forward to doing more of them. I hope I see some of you guys in the lobby in my drafts.